Yo, we back with a reacts part 7. Part 7 of the Andrew Tate versus Piers Morgan. Last part. Y'all start now.
No, it's my view. What's
Okay,
your
that's
view?
your view. Well, your
view is you would.
You're sitting here, Piers, saying that I'm on uncensored show, and in your intro you said that it's important that we don't have echo chambers and we have varying
Correct.
and that we have varying opinions.
Correct.
But then you're saying the people you don't like, you wouldn't go on their podcast.
No.
So you are a hypocrite.
No.
I will go on anybody's podcast and discuss any point.
I don't think you understand what censorship means, do you? Like a lot of words we've had problems with today.
You're just saying
What do you think censorship means?
No, but the point I'm trying to make here.
Hang on. What do you think censorship means?
Don't hide from the fact that you're saying you will only do podcasts with people you like.
Why do you think that's censorship?
No, that's your prerogative. My prerogative is
What does it do with censorship?
I'll discuss opinions with anybody, and I've done hard left wing. Why are you not asking me about the podcast I've done for the people who are hard liberal
By the way,
left wing?
I don't care whether they're left or right.
Okay.
Extremists to me are all nuts, right?
Then we agree.
Yes.
So perfect.
Good.
Next subject.
All right, here's my next subject.
Man, that's the first time you got him to say he agreed.
And before you move on, sorry, Piers, but before you move on, I do find it kind of disingenuous, and I know we're on a show, and I don't have a personal problem with you, but it is kind of disingenuous to try and sit here and lump me in with some school shooting. That's nothing to do with me. That's nothing to do with me. On any level.
Let me respond.
On any level.
You ain't brought up the little girl yet.
You just said you've been on this podcast 4 times.
In 4 years.
Since he said the whole thing was staged.
I don't know when he
And I think the fact that a smart guy like you wants me to believe you had no idea that Alex Jones, who's been in the news now for the last 2 years for being sued by these families for the most heinous thing imaginable of pouring petrol onto their grief by claiming that shooting was staged. The fact that you're pretending you didn't know about any of that.
It's not about pretending
and you've been on his podcast 4 times, supporting him and making him money. So damn right I'm going to call you out on it.
When I do...
Bro, I'm just going to have to go to part 8 because I can't. I'm not going to be able to keep my mouth shut. This motherfucker is annoying. Bro, what? I can't even put words around it. Like, he's just acting he's acting like someone that's guilty and trying to put it on somebody else. Like, I can't think of any other way to fucking put it. This man is just, he came for that clickbait. He came for the views. He gives not one fuck about what his point is. He has no open-mindedness to change his fucking mind. He came knowing some shit, and he's gonna leave knowing the same exact shit, and he's gonna feel the same exact fucking way. If there was any, bro, the fact that he even came on your podcast, you should be grateful. Like, what are you talking about? I'm sure he didn't do a whole background check on you before he came on. He's like, oh, he got a podcast, he got views. Yeah, I'll go on and tell my message. That's what he does. He wants to get his fucking message out there.
Do a podcast.
So if anything, Alex Jones is supporting him. Like, I don't understand how the fuck the guest makes the host. What are you talking about?
I'm here supporting him and making him money. So damn right I'm going to call you out on it.
When I do a podcast, if you think I spend time analyzing the point of view of that person and everything they've ever said for years before,
you didn't even watch no clips of what the fuck this fool just said. The only clips you watched are the clips that your editors and producers gave you. You did not watch no hours of his shit. He's already called you out on it. You try to say that you have watched this shit, which you haven't, because he called you out on a fucking clip whenever you said that he said this, and he left out the whole beginning. Whenever he was talking about if a woman came at him with a machete, he would smack it out of her hand. All he said was he would smack it out of her hand and grab her by the neck and throw her on the floor. And that motherfucker looked so embarrassed whenever he realized that he was wrong. Because he ain't done no research. You ain't done no fucking research, you hypocrite.
It's not years, it was minutes in most cases.
Years and years.
When did you last go on when did you last go on
this podcast? You trying to lump me in and attack me for a person whose podcast I do having a view is absolutely childish. Because I've done a bunch of podcasts with people.
You would do a podcast.
I've done a bunch of podcasts with people who are advocating for things that I do not agree with on every single level. In fact, most of my podcasts are me disagreeing with people. So it's completely crazy that you're trying to lump me in with that. That's cheap. That's cheap.
You are completely misconstruing the point of what I'm saying. I think deliberately.
No, what you're trying is a cheap trick. And I'm just making it clear to the audience.
Cheap trick. I'm just curious where your moral line is.
It's a cheap trick.
Where's your moral line?
I disagree with the points of view with the majority of the people I do podcasts with. So it's a very cheap trick you're trying here. So
when people invent vile things to make themselves rich, off the back of families of little kids who've been blown to pieces with a machine gun,
He was rich
or
before
a
he got famous.
semi-automatic version of a machine gun, I think that is actually a line I wouldn't cross. I wouldn't be happy to go on someone's podcast when they've been responsible for doing that. It's not about political views or differences of opinion over facts. It's about somebody deliberately inventing a pack of lies to compound the grief of families. And I'm curious, you don't think you have any need to go down any kind of moral quandary about people like that before you continue to allow them to use you for their own promotion.
He's talking about using him for his own promotion. Bro, I didn't know he was on there 4 times. I watched one of the interviews, the latest one. They did not talk about nothing but Andrew Tate and how he was canceled. I'm positive they did not get on there talking about Sandy Hook. I wouldn't even know Alex Jones said anything about or Sandy Hook if it wasn't for this fool. He's the one bringing their family back into the fucking fire. He's the one using Andrew Tate to put a fucking limelight on that. That's so disingenuous. I hope he picks up on that and fucking throws it back in his face, because that's fucked up, man. And he does it with another little girl. I only know that because on the first reaction, not part 1, but the clip of him trying to get a trailer for this fucking interview to get hype around behind it, had him asking about it. I'm sure it'll pop up here soon because it ain't popped up yet.
He didn't use me. He didn't use me.
Why does he have you on the podcast?
Because we disagreed and discussed points like we're doing with you right now.
Did you call him out on that?
Are you using me? We didn't discuss that.
I'm not using you. I'm giving you a platform most people aren't giving you right now to show the world who you really are.
Fantastic. So neither of us are using each other. I'm here on your show. I'm providing you with content. You're giving me a platform. And nobody's using each other. It's mutual. We don't agree on a whole bunch of issues.
That's fine.
And here we are.
I think we've had a robust exchange.
Yeah, just like I've done on nearly every other podcast. And if someone were to come and say to me in the future that something, heaven forbid, there was a skeleton in your closet, and someone were to come to me and say, you were on Piers Morgan's show, did you know he's X or he's done X? I would say that's absolutely nothing to do with me.
Right. But
I make the same point protecting you. I don't know what you do. I don't know your personal life.
I can guarantee one thing. I will not be inventing stories about the families of kids.
I hope you're a righteous person.
I'm not claiming to be a righteous person.
I don't know.
I'm just saying that I just think it's interesting that you have no moral compulsion about going on people.
It's not about moral compulsions. It's about I don't know what you do, Piers. You could have a bunch of skeletons in your closet, my friend. I don't have a clue. I'm here on your TV show.
I'm sure we all have lots of skeletons. Let me ask you this. Interesting about the feminism thing.
Sure.
Do you identify as a feminist?
I think that women and men are fantastic. Both of us are fantastic. I think women reproduce. I think women need to be respected, protected, provided for. I think that modern feminism is kind of hard for me to even truly understand.
What do you think it means? What is feminism?
I think that the idea of feminism is that men and women are equal under the law.
And do you believe that?
Completely.
We should be treated completely equal.
Yeah, but we are equal under the law. Wouldn't you agree?
Not really. I think there are still some issues in the world where, certainly in workplace, the gender pay gap remains. They're not treated equally in most cases, women.
Well, that can be discussed, the gender pay gap. I think that's already been discussed at length. I think that there's actually...
Do you think women should go to work?
I think women should work completely.
You do?
Why wouldn't they?
Because in the parts of the country, of the world you were mentioning earlier, that have different views of women, they don't go to work.
In the parts of the world that person from the podcast was from, for the point I made, yeah, they didn't. But I don't live in those parts of the world. I think women should be free to work if they choose. I think it's very important that the family unit remains. I do believe that in my personal view, the most important and respectful thing a woman can do is become a mother. I think that having children is a beautiful thing. But obviously, if a woman wants to work and wants to have a career, especially now with paternity leave or maternity leave, and she can manage to do both, why wouldn't I want women to work? I don't know why anyone would ever assume I don't want women to work or think women can't work, because I said that I should keep them safe sometimes.
Good.
No, but it's interesting because you have to look at this, Piers. It's interesting how people extrapolate. Andrew said that he's responsible for a woman's safety, and he said that gives him authority to make decisions for her safety, and that's been misconstrued, and he's a bad person. He believes that women are property. But now we believe that Andrew doesn't believe in love. Andrew doesn't believe women should work. I don't know where all of that comes from.
Well, that's why I'm glad we've had a chance to discuss.
Completely. I believe women are sovereign individuals, and they can make any choice they so desire. I think that it's important that we remember that a man has a duty. I think I certainly in my relationship have a financial responsibility to provide for my woman. My woman would never have to work unless she wanted to, because I'm the kind of person who works hard enough that she wouldn't have to.
Should young men, though, all aspire to be like you?
Should young men aspire to work very hard, have no criminal record, become multimillionaires, protect and provide for the women close to them, be sovereign so they can stand up and have their own points of view in face of cancellation, be able to not be mentally intimidated when they go on national TV and there's traps set up for them. Yeah, I believe that confident, strong men
Little dig at
who
the
stand
end.
up and protect and provide for women are a good thing for the world and a good force for the world. And I don't think that I put a magic spell on anybody. I think there's a whole bunch of men in the world who understands my value. And if men grow up to be like me, you're going to have a whole bunch of people with no criminal record, dedicated athletes who protect and provide for the people close to them, are fantastic for the economy. And I'm certainly not the worst influence out here, Piers. You have Lil Nas twerking on the devil on music videos, which our children are digesting. You have drill artists singing about stabbing people to death in the middle of a knife crime epidemic. You have rabid psychopaths on whether the right or the left announcing violence on the other side. You have all these insanities in the world. And because I sit here and say, perhaps, now you've laid it out and it offended you, I understand.
I didn't say it offended
Okay,
me.
cool.
I just read you the thing.
You read things that you said they could be offensive and some people are offended.
Well, some people definitely were offended.
Absolutely. That's fine.
And
You have the right to be offended.
Some of the things you said were genuinely offensive and misogynist.
Okay, so they offended you.
And
like
actually,
I said earlier, so they offended you,
No,
which
hang
is
on.
fine. I said they offended you, you interrupted me, and now you're saying they offended you, which is fine. But the point I'm trying to make is this: I'm not the devil. There are certainly worse people than me, and
I don't disagree
and they exist.
with that.
And I'm saying that my core tenets for the people who don't understand me are self-accountability, so I'm accountable for everything I've ever said.
Yeah.
My core tenets are responsibility, so I'm responsible for everything I've said. My core tenets are traditional masculinity to a degree, which involves protecting and providing for women. And I'll make another point here that needs to be said. The number of women who have stood up and stuck up for me is ignored. Thousands of women are making videos saying, I've met Andrew Tate, he's such a nice guy. I wish I had a man like Andrew Tate who felt responsible to protect and provide for me. You know what? I do belong to my husband, and that's why I married him and I love him. We ignore the thousands of women who stood up and stood by me and said everything I said is true. And we're taking a very vocal minority who have taken the things I've said and are pretending to be absolutely and utterly devastated by them for some reason.
All right.
I'm in that there, but yeah, that's fucking facts, man. Nobody wants to talk about the people that actually stand up for them. They only want to drag them. Yeah, we're gonna end that there. Part 8, last and final part. All the other parts are on my channel. Go check them out. I don't see why you'd watch part 7 if you haven't watched the part 1 through 6, but to each his own. Deuces.